Anthony, do you remember when I was at Eastern Meadows and I made the unfortunate decision to say, let God cook?
Absolutely.
I don't know what came over me. I was trying to say, like, let God drive. That was what I normally would say. But I just said, let God cook. And then in my head, I'm going, what is wrong with you? Where did we go to lunch that day? Do you remember some donkey?
Yeah, little donkey.
The little donkey. Anthony comes up to me and he goes, do you like Mexican food? And I said, sure. He goes, there's this place called the Little Donkey. Do you want to go eat there? And I said, do they serve donkey? I said, I don't know. Most of the Mexican restaurants are La Hacienda, Casa. I've never just, they just really didn't get Little Donkey.
Yeah, Little Donkey. Yeah.
And then when we got there, it was a unique Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, really nice.
Describe the food there, because it's not like normal Mexican food.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of high class.
Yeah.
A little high class Mexican restaurant.
Because they've got steak tacos, but pulled pork tacos or whatever.
Pulled pork tacos, steak tacos.
Yeah.
But it's real fine kind of situation, dine-in situation.
Sounds good. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And everybody that day would not let me live it down that I said, let God cook. So, some of the things that happen to us in ministry that are so much fun are the things that we just shouldn't say, and we accidentally say it. We always think maybe when we get to a point where we're preaching and we think I could go off the cuff on this and I could say it, then we don't troubleshoot it. Did that just fall?
No, sorry.
You did that?
I did that.
So we don't troubleshoot what we're going to say, right? We don't test it. Mm-hmm. Then we say it, and then we get in the car and our spouses go, what was that? What was that? What were you thinking when you said this? Bradley's not here to defend himself on camera. He's in the other room. Bradley has the unfortunate problem of putting his foot in his mouth constantly. And when he would direct the spiritual sword, Bradley's a whole nother level. Isn't that right, Bradley?
Takes it up a notch.
At the spiritual sword, the very last year. And next year, we need to have Bradley back so he can try to defend himself. But at the spiritual sword, last time he was directing it, Bradley gets up and he goes, I'm the only lectureship director that's not 100 years old or whatever.
Yikes.
Inside the room that night was Jonathan Burns, who was director of the East Hill Lectureship, Caleb Rutherford, who had just started to direct the East Hill Lectureship before he moved to Roanoke, Dad, and then there was also Michael Wyatt, who was going to be directing the next year. There were all these men that were there. None of them were 100 years old. Yeah. And as soon as Bradley said it, he goes, whoops. You can just tell. He's like, I didn't think this through. Yeah. And so we're here today, of course, with Anthony Dismuke. And Wayne, he is the calm in my conspiracy. And so we're glad that we have the opportunity to sit down and talk about some funny things that take place. And so, Anthony, what kind of stories might you want to tell? If you got one, start us off and we'll pick up and continue as we go through.
Okay. When I think about, did that really happen? I guess so many ideas can just spin through one's mind when they think about that. And, I guess you could say naturally sometimes some things might be funny, some things might be negative. For some people, I was assuming some might think negatively, but my mind just doesn't go there. It thinks about positive things most times. I just try to be positive anyway, so it just naturally think about positive things. And one experience, well, by the way, we do still talk about that at church.
Do you really?
Yeah. Oh, in fact, when Wayne came, we told him about, we like, would you believe what Michael did last time he was here?
I've not been invited back either. I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't have him back. What will you say?
That could have been one of my stories. Did that really happen?
It could have.
But yeah, no, we already told Wayne about it. Yeah. So, but yeah. So thanks for bringing that up. But,
absolutely. Yeah.
Great sermon, by the way.
Other than that 1 20-second part, it was good.
The rest of it, the younger people just had a great time after that.
Yeah, I wasn't cooking, that's for sure.
We all looked like, did he just?
Because I caught Anthony, I think, going, like, what did that? What he said that?
Looking in our Bibles, reading, and then just let God cook. Just But okay, so yeah, positive experience. Really, just kind of wow that happened. There was a preacher friend of mine who kind of was looking for another opportunity, situation just wasn't going so well where he was, and he was looking for another opportunity. And as a friend, as a brother, you always try to help out if you can. Mm-hmm. And so I had an opportunity to put together a lectureship, I think it was, of sorts, at a congregation. And then we really didn't have him in mind, but because of his current situation, I thought, how can I implement him in here some way, somehow, because there'll be people here who might, have an opportunity for him. Of course, or there'll be people who know people or congregations that could possibly connect him. And so I created a spot for him, which was just a Sunday morning Bible class. I said, hey, you'll take that. It was all weekend, but I said, you'll take that. And I said, when you come, I said, don't do it like you, don't think of this as just a normal sermon. I said, preach it like you're trying out for a congregation. You need to bring your best foot forward.
Yeah, bring it.
I said, bring your best foot forward because you never know what could come out of this opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I said, so you have to kind of just treat it that way. And long story short, that individual, he finished his sermon 2 months before that time. And it was like, all right, I'm just working on it. I'm just still keeping it in my head. And when he finally got to that opportunity, sure enough, there were people there. And he got, I think ended up being 2 people that wanted him. He ended up getting 1 for sure. And he's still there at that congregation to this day. So that's kind of one of those. And it happened the exact way that I kind of figured it, told him that it would happen, which is just rare that it would. But it's kind of amazing how that worked. Did that really happen? Yeah, that's kind of one that I think about.
Yeah, I was the recipient one time in that kind of same situation. And I think probably that same on a different occasion, that same congregation where I think you're talking about helped me out. Let me come and do a VBS, week-long VBS, just had me, come and do that. And that gave me some opportunities as well during that time frame, but it helped me out as I was between work at that point in time. But on another occasion, and it wasn't that a spot was made necessarily opened up for me on a lectureship, but I was already speaking on a lectureship, and the preacher there knew that was the situation, that I, and so Wayne is available, he kind of made a statement for me before, and I didn't ask him to do that. He just kind of did it, took it on his own, and I left there with a bunch of contacts and, eventually a work that followed. So it was an amazing situation. So as a recipient, man, it was a great feeling when it works out that way.
Yeah,
so,
it's just kind of funny.
I one time had 15 nuggets put in my 12 count at Chick-fil-A.
That's amazing too, brother.
So I've been blessed.
It works for us all, man. It works for us all.
Been blessed as well.
Yeah. Some days are good, man.
It was on a Sunday too. It was crazy. No. So I'll go negative since that's me. I'm negative, Mike.
Expected.
So, traveling as much as I do, there are a lot of hotel stories that can be told throughout the year, but I've got 2. My dad taught me first off when I was starting to travel, he said, you always stay on the top floor. And I was like, why? He said, no one's above you. And I thought, okay. Well, for a long time, I had gotten lucky and I would stay on the bottom floor because it's easy. Like if I'm driving in at 1:30 in the morning, the last thing I want to do is go up an elevator, 6 flights, 6 stories or whatever, then go all the way down the hall, unload everything, come back down the hall. I'm running the risk that I might wake people up. So I'll say, I'll just do the bottom floor, walk right in, get right into the room. I'm mitigating a lot of potential for me to bump into a wall or the door slam or any of that. And so I got really lucky for a long time. And then I was staying at a place and I had been like very road weary at this point. I was exhausted. I just wanted to relax. I had nothing to do that night, and I had my PlayStation with me. And so Madden was about to be fired up, and I was about to win some Super Bowls with the Steelers because that's the only team that matters. But I plug up the PlayStation, and I'm just so excited to just have nothing to do. It's rare sometimes that you get that moment. So when you do, you want to seize it. And all of a sudden, I hear like horses above me. It's the only thing it could have been. It couldn't have been children. It had to be horses because they were bounding on the floor above me so hard and so loud and with so much weight. At one point, I actually thought there was a possibility they might come through the ceiling and fall through. And so I'm just getting madder and madder by the minute because I can't focus. I can't relax. I just get settled and situated, and all of a sudden, they start another race, and I took my tennis shoe and I fired it up into the ceiling as if to say, I'll show you. So that's how tired I was because I would not normally do that. Probably. Maybe. Okay, I probably would. But I threw my shoe up there, but I don't think, they heard it by any means. And then they kept doing it. And so then I started to be like, those progressive commercials where they're like, you can also not turn into your parents or whatever. And I became a crotchety old man. And I called the front desk and I said, can you call the room that is above me and tell them to stop running? But then I said, but don't tell them it's from me. I didn't want them to know, which they would probably assume, someone, below us is complaining. Yeah. But they said, what is happening? I said, they're stomping above me. And that lady probably hung up and said, wow, that guy's got problems, I guess. But
you didn't turn into your dad, though. You probably turned into TJ.
I might have turned into, he doesn't like stomping. That's for sure. So this other time I was in a hotel, we were coming in and we had the whole family, and you've traveled some with your family. I'm sure you know the thousands of items that get packed into a car when you have children that are small. You've got to bring basically their entire livelihood of arrangement of things, the pack and play, the high chair, their social security card, everything. It's like you can't get away with bringing just a few things. We got there right at 3:00. That's when check-in's supposed to be at hotels, and this one specifically. They said, we're not done yet with the room. Need you to just kind of wait for a few minutes. We had unloaded everything too. And so we're all waiting. And he said, just 10 minutes. 25 minutes go by. He hasn't called me back up to the front to tell me the room's ready. And we have to stay on the bottom floor when we have kids because I won't put people through that, knowing that it's annoying to me. I'm not going to stay on the top floor if we can get away with it. And so I go back up to the desk and I said, hey, can I ask you some questions? He said, sure. And I said, why can't we get into our room yet? I said, the check-in's at 3:00. It's almost 3:30. I said, we've done everything the way the policy is supposed to be. And he goes, well, I can put you on the 3rd floor. And I said, but I don't want to be on the 3rd floor. I want to be on the 1st floor because we've got kids. I don't want people below us. And he said, well, we were sold out last night and we're not sold out tonight. And so that's why, we're just trying to clean the room. And I said, okay. I said, well, can I ask you a follow-up question? He said, sure. I said, if you're not sold out tonight, but you were sold out last night, why did you not clean my room first? I said, because if you've got the 3rd floor available, that means no one's staying in there at least anytime soon. Mm-hmm. And so why wouldn't you clean the room? My room type. I checked in online. I said, I'm getting 107. Why wouldn't 107 be like at the top of the list to clean? And he started going, sir, you need to calm down. I said, I'm asking a question. I'm really I'm not trying to be rude. I want to understand because I've got 3 kids. One's crying because she needs to eat and she can't because we're breastfeeding. And I'm not just going to have that. We've got to get all the stuff out of the suitcases to be able to feed and to do everything if we're going to do that out here in public. So I said, I'm just trying to get my kids into the room and settled because they're restless from traveling. And he goes, sir, like I told you, you need to calm down. And I just said, okay. And so I go and sat down. As soon as I sat down, he goes, your room is ready. I was like, Okay. And so when we left that morning, I stole no. But those are some of the things that happen with the hotels that are not fun. What other positive stories do you have? Because I want to feel positive.
Positive.
You can go negative too, because that's who I am as a person.
We'll spin it.
Well, I don't know. I got some funny ones from school, but I don't know.
Share those, man.
Do it.
Yeah.
Tell us about Daniel Webster.
No, yeah, actually. No, yeah, there's a guy that, man, there's so many. There was one guy who I had the distinct pleasure of being vice president my second year in school. And the president was, he was not much of a guy that wanted to put his foot down much at all. So what would happen would be when it came to things like having to make some stern announcements and, Anthony, could you please, do that for me? Okay, sure. I'll be the bad guy, I guess. But I didn't have to do much of that. Our class was pretty good. But there was a class behind us that had some people that caused us just a few minor tidbit problems. Mm-hmm. And I was in charge of library duty. That was my thing. I had to do library duty. I assigned everybody for library duty. And I'm fair, of course. Everybody gets to do it once, and hopefully you don't have to do it again, but you might, depending on how things fall.
Yeah.
But there was this one guy who just decided that that he was going to, I guess, test the powers that were invested within me to be able to do that. He's a funny guy, though. He's a real funny guy. Really funny. I want to say that this guy is so funny that in chapel, he made a sermon that was called the BLT sandwich. And that was his sermon. And highlight from school. But yeah, so this guy, that's one, did that really happen? I'm not even going into that one. Yeah. But so that same guy, he did something. I really can't remember what he did. And kind of just was like, chastising me about it. I said, okay, man. I said, hey, if you don't leave me alone, buddy, you'll be doing library duty for the rest of the year, And he was like, yeah, right. You can't do that or something like that. I was like, all right. So the next day we came back in, I switched the whole sheet. I printed it out and I put his name on every library duty for the rest of the entire year. And of course I was being funny with that one, but I just wanted to prove a point to him. He came back in, he was just like, so, no, you can't do this to me. Why did you do that?
I can, and I did.
Test me.
Yeah, and he thought, he's like, no, he thought he could just like tell somebody about it. They were like, that's the vice president. I don't know why you mess with him. He can do that if he wants to. I was like, well, look, I'll make a deal with you. I'll reduce it to a month if you be on good behavior, But and so no, it ended up he got back to good together, and he only had to do a month, but he still had to do a month,
And look, if Anthony said,
I would clean it the rest of my life.
You need to get it. You need to get it together.
Yeah.
Or else
there would be no fear of anything but me letting him down.
That's funny.
Speaking of things that are annoying, though.
Mm-hmm.
So Wayne, when he texts me, okay, he never says okay. Mm-hmm. What do you say?
Roger.
But how do you spell it?
RGR.
It's not how you spell Roger. RGR. The first time he did that, I thought, he's having a stroke. He's dying, and I don't know how to help him because he's not near me. Wow. And I had to ask him, I was like, what is that? And he said, Roger. And I said, okay. Just so we're clear here, the word okay is 2 letters. Roger, the way you spell it is 3. You're not saving time.
I'm good to save time, man.
You're not saving any time. Why? Explain to me. Was that a Navy thing?
It's a military thing.
So you had to say that?
It's just a response. Yeah. To, you say something, I'm affirming I got it. Roger. Rogers. Come on, man.
Yes. I mean, that's the droids from Star Wars Phantom Menace.
And, there's a military background for you, right? And goes back to probably airplane movie too. You got these guys going in the cockpit up there. Roger.
So, I always think it's funny to talk about the debates. Did you debate?
Yeah.
Did you have truth or error?
I think I had error.
What do you remember? What you debated?
I really don't.
You don't?
No, I don't think it was.
Well, guess what? BJ Clark's here right now, and he's gonna ask you what you debated.
He has that and your pre-mill notebook.
Yeah,
finally graded.
Tell me about the pre-mill notebook. What was your experience with that? Because I'm about to blow your mind. Are you ready? It's digital now.
Huh?
I love it. It's digital now. You can do digital if you want to.
If you want,
yes.
Too much privilege around there.
Do you know who we have to blame for that?
Who?
Aaron Lloyd. Aaron Lloyd. He asked me, he said, hey, you're welcome for making it digital. I said, that was the worst thing you could have ever done.
Yeah.
I said, because it's so hard to grade it now.
Yeah.
When it was the notebook, Dad and I just go through and check scripture references. He does the final grade, but I make sure that all the scripture references are in there and all the notes. And I just try to help him speed the process up some. Yeah. And so I'll say, hey, this guy does have every article in there. There is a truth and an error article, the way that it's set up. And so we're good. Now you can go through it and make your final grade. So I'm more of a clerk, if you will, or a clerk, I guess you could say. But Aaron asked if it could be digitized because he said, I'm just worried it's going to be really expensive to print and to put it all in the binder and all that. And I told him, I said, first of all, everybody else had to print it and put it in a binder.
And the binders, which probably costed $20 a piece because they were 5-inch binders and nobody carried. You probably had to order them.
Yeah.
Office Depot had them when I was in school.
Well, we had to get them ordered. We had to tell them. We had to get them ordered in, okay, so that we could do that.
And so it's digital now. And
what happened to the, how do you?
It's so much more difficult when we went through
the organizational part of it. Was
you make it as a PDF and you use an app to combine it all together.
Yeah, but I thought part of the grade was
the tabs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
the organization of it.
The Memphis School of Preaching was much harder when we all went through it.
Absolutely.
I remember last year, though, sitting with Dad as I'm scrolling through, one of the things that I hadn't factored in yet was some of these files you're bringing in, like they're 1,500, 1,800 pages. They're crashing my preview app on my Mac or on the PDF Expert app or any of that. They're crashing Adobe too. Like Acrobat can't handle having, because you're trying to scroll through and look at it.
Yikes.
Well, it doesn't remember where you left off. And so I told Dad, I said, we really need to see if they can hyperlink the sections. Because if they could hyperlink the sections, then you could at least, when you open it back up, if you get lost, you click back in, you know where to go. And so, but yeah, they're digitizing that now.
No, that's what they need to do.
Fancy.
Hyperlink it. Yeah. You got to put some work in.
Yeah. I told Aaron, because Aaron
didn't make it searchable. Right?
Aaron saw me last month and he said, you're welcome for that, by the way. I said, it was not a helpful thing. I said, it was helpful for you.
Like you thought.
Yeah. It was helpful for you guys. It was not helpful for us. And so, I mean, but Aaron's catching strays, so that's okay.
We had to really go to the library, do some deep digging for that stuff.
Jan Keene once got on to me, but she didn't know it was me. I had eaten an apple in the library. And she came in the next day and she was giving us the library tour. I didn't think. I mean, I knew you couldn't eat an apple in the library, but I didn't think. And so I threw it away in the trash can. She's standing right by that trash can. And she goes, now, it's absolutely not acceptable to eat food in here and to put it in this basket. And she turns down and there's an apple core in the basket. And she goes, who did this? And I was like, I'm so sorry. So, the library was stricter back then too,
I don't remember having library duty though.
I don't either. I think that's a new thing.
That must have been
good for y'all to
y'all were tasked with some things, man.
I mean, well, maybe because it gotten out of hand before us.
Everybody was eating in it or something.
It must have been those apples. And
that's right.
Things. So we had to come in and clean up, and that's what you did. I mean, you had to come and clean up. Actually, I think it's probably because we didn't really have. Y'all had like a librarian, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really have.
So we're having to mind it yourself, kind of.
Yeah, we had one who was doing two things at once, being
right.
secretary and librarian at the same time, which was
yeah. So. Well, I mean, it's good to have all the memories we've got. We could certainly tell a lot of stories that we should not tell on this program. There's a lot. Life's funny sometimes, you know? And so I'm thankful to have Anthony here today. And as always, this is Wayne, also known as the Roger Specialist, because every message from him sounds like it came from a naval station. We'll be back next season, hopefully, with more introductions of Wayne Rogers and more guests to talk about some of the funnier things that have happened to them in ministry. Until then, take care.
Roger,
God bless.